Segura. Did I say that right?
Correct.
All right, welcome to Facebook Live. We're bringing on another author, another guest. This is Helene Segura, and she's a time management expert. And why I'm so excited to have Helene on with us is because the number one reason people say they don't work out or meal plan is because of time. So welcome to the show, Helene. Thank you for being here with us.
Thanks, Drew. I'm excited to be here.
Now, tell us a bit about yourself, because I know that you're the inefficiency assassin. We had you on a past show. We did a wonderful interview there, and you talk all about time management and helping people manage their time. So why don't you give us a background in case any of our listeners aren't quite sure who you are or what you do?
Absolutely. You mentioned my passion being entrepreneurs figure out how to better use their time during they can have a life outside of work for important things like and working out. My background is in education, so I've used neuroscience and educational psychology to figure out how people can figure out how to better help them make changes, and because change is so hard for humans. Born and raised in Los Angeles from Texas A&M University. So I like to say that I immigrated to Texas from LA because they're two totally different worlds. And between the education background and the traveling that I do, that's helped me figure out people from all different backgrounds, which allows me to better work with them.
It seems like I spend a lot of time in California. I have a lot of friends there. And it seems like a lot of people are moving from California to Texas. Is there any reason, or is something I should know? Anything you got there?
What you should know is the cost of real estate in Southern California is outrageous, and people are able to sell their homes in LA, a small home. I'll give you an example. Some friends of mine, they recently bought a home. It's $1 million on the west side of Los Angeles, and it's 1,300 square feet. For $1 million in South Texas, you could buy an entire ranch with a castle on it. So people from LA are loving the cost of living here in Texas.
So why don't they go somewhere else, or is it just because Texas is much cheaper than other states?
That's reason number one. It's much cheaper. Reason number two is we don't have a state income tax.
Oh, wow. So I guess that'll do it.
Yeah, it will, because if you're in LA or anywhere in California, not only do you have the price of real estate, but you also pay a state income tax. So you're gouged in more than one way.
Mm. Yeah. Okay. Well, that was just for my own personal benefit. Let's get into some time. Let's get into some time management here. What's the main reason, I suppose, that people say I don't have time, or maybe the main solution that we could go over to help people manage their time better?
There are two main reasons, actually. One is that people haven't taken the time to actually focus on what their because if you were to walk up to me on the street and say, hey, what are your priorities? I can say those to you, but those live in our somebody asks us. And when our priorities are not forefronts right in our brains, we tend to not make good decisions about our time because on our priorities. And then main reason number two why so many people have a problem with time is because they are trying to pack so much in, thinking the more than the will be. And unfortunately, that doesn't work well, because we tend to overextend ourselves and double schedule or overschedule, and our brains just end up out of whack and we get nothing done.
So would it be fair to say the number one thing that we can do is prioritize better?
Yes, sir. Because if you understand how to prioritize, you will understand exactly where your time needs to go throughout the day. Instead of just answering or responding to whatever happens to pop up in front of you, you start to learn, wait a minute, I understand this has just been presented to me on this right now. Instead, I back on.
Sorry, I lost you there. Our connection isn't fantastic, but I can I can hear what you're saying. I hope our audience is okay as well, listening to. Not quite sure what's happening, but I think we're doing okay. So just understanding prioritizing is something that we can do to, I suppose, improve our time. I mean, we hear it all the time. It's on our minds. Personally, I feel it's a mindset. Like sometimes I say to someone, "How come you didn't do that?"
Mm-hmm.
They say, "Time." There's no thought.
Mm-hmm.
It's just I didn't have time. And I think if we could change our mind around understanding that we do have time, if like you're saying we prioritize a bit better, then we could realize that there is enough time in the day, and then we can do the things that we prioritize and actually want to do.
Exactly. If you do something, if it's really that important to you, it's that high of a make. So we'll take working out, for instance. Your highest priority to take care of your health, sure that those workouts happen, whether you schedule them at morning or in the afternoon, you're going to make sure that nothing else will, because that's your priority.
And what's something that we can do? I suppose the mindset of having a priority is number one. But I think that a lot of times we have like a hair appointment, a nail appointment. For men, maybe it's a golf appointment or a meeting for those of us in business. Those are priorities. But when it comes to working out, meal planning, all things that will help you, I always say they give you more energy that we avoid. How do we make those priorities? How do we find a way to prioritize those things in our life?
We need to make sure that those top priorities are scheduled first on our calendar, and then secondary priorities can be scheduled in between. So for instance, workouts should be scheduled on your calendar first. Making sure that you get enough sleep time is scheduled. Meal planning is scheduled. And let's say that you are presented with this incredible opportunity, like your biggest prospective client says, hey, do you want to go play golf tomorrow? But it's going to overlap with something you already have on your calendar. This is where time blocking comes in. You can slide those times around for what was previously scheduled, so they're not dropping off your calendar. This is where time blocking comes in on there. And I think I have a delay on my end because I just heard myself a minute ago.
There's a bit of a delay. Our connection isn't great. We do have Louise and Dallas that are tuned in and watching. So thank you guys for stopping in and see what we have going on. But I think you're exactly right. Like that's something that we have to do. We have to take our top priorities, usually the things that we don't want to do, and put them first. So we get them out of the way, and then we get to the things that maybe are a bit easier, we can do quicker, that shouldn't really be top priorities.
Exactly. I have to do the same thing with laundry. Laundry is my least favorite task. So I schedule it first thing on a Saturday morning, and I'm not allowed to do anything else until I finish the laundry, because then the rest of the day will be fun. So if you can schedule those priorities on your, especially if you don't like to do, get them done earlier in the day, then the rest of the day is so much easier to get through.
So is there anything we can do in particular to say, this is what we can do, or I like what you said there, I'm not allowed to do anything before I do this. And I think sometimes I do that to myself, like just you're not, like when I get up in the morning, like that's something for me, like don't open up email, don't open up social media. I have to do this, or I'm not allowed to open up anything else. Is that something that you teach?
Oh, absolutely. And a lot of people don't like the D word, which is discipline, but it does take discipline in order to make those choices. So if you can discipline yourself to do at least one thing you don't like first, and then you can do something fun, then you can flip-flop throughout. For instance, now, Drew, don't get mad, but I don't always walking in the evening. So I don't let myself have a glass of wine until I've done. I basically hold myself hostage and dangle that reward out there. And that's how I get through doing the things that I don't like to do.
That's a great little tip. I think that there's all kinds of topics we could get into, like external rewards, but in this particular case, I think that if you give yourself something to look forward to, then we can get those tasks done. I just want to mention Dallas real quick. She said, love this topic, I'm taking notes. And we had Diane just pop in as well, so thanks, Diane, for coming in and see what we have going on. So those of you that are popping in and out, we have a handful of people in now. This is Helene Segura, and she's a time management expert. We've had her on the show. She's an author and a speaker, and she's come on the show exploring mind and body in the past for a couple of interviews. One of her books is called The Inefficiency Assassin, and that's what all you're about, Helene, is teaching people how to manage their time at a more efficient rate. Is that correct?
Absolutely correct, because life is to spend it totally stressed out and don't have enough time. So that's why it's absolutely important for everybody to get as much time as possible. By the way, can I go ahead and give the people a free productivity kit? Is that okay to do?
That'd be awesome.
Okay. So for anybody who is listening out there, all 1 million of you, if you would like to go to timemanagementrevolution.com, then you can sign up for a free productivity kit. And it has the time management planners that I use with my clients, these little templates. It has a free podcast on procrastination, so don't delay. Make sure you watch it. And it has all these other resources in there that'll help you out.
So I'll put it on the screen here. Tell me what the name of that link was again. timemanagementrevolution.com. All right, timemanagementrevolution.com. Thanks for offering that free gift. I think so many people need to, I think we can all improve our time in some way. I think we all get stuck on flipping through our news feeds or wasting time in areas where we all know we don't need to be doing. So if we could have some tips from an expert like you, then we would all be more efficient and do more of the things that we want to do instead of the things that we have to do.
Everybody who's listening feel better about the procrastinating that they're doing being on Facebook right now. We can call this productive procrastination, because while you might be avoiding a task, you are learning something that's very important. So whenever you feel the need to procrastinate to escape what's in front of you, you can procrastinate productively by doing something that will get you ahead.
I like that. Yeah, productive procrastination is a great way. So that's kind of giving ourselves the opportunity to step away, but do something productive while we're maybe wasting a bit of time.
Well, see, you're not wasting it if it's productive. We're not robots. There's no way we could work for a solid 8 hours a day. Kind of productive would be to run all the way across the office to go get some water because you're taking a break. That's healthy for you. If you need to procrastinate in the afternoon, you could go for a walk outside because you're doing something that's good for heart. So tempting from work. So there are a lot of ways that you can procrastinate productively.
I like it. Helene, I'm going to let our listeners go here. I just want to thank you for being here with us. Thanks for coming on, exploring mind and body, and offering these tips as well. Again, you're the author of The Inefficiency Assassin. Would you like to tell us what website you're at and maybe some of the other things that you have for those of us that want to learn more about avoiding procrastination or doing more productive procrastination and being more efficient with their time?
Absolutely. For anybody interested in the book or time management, you can go to theinefficiencyassassin.com. And what I'm most proud of about the book is that it was designed for people who don't have time to sit down and read it. So you can translation by looking at the table of contents and skip what you need. You don't have to read it in order. And when you go to the productivity kit, the one that you signed up for, hopefully, there's also a free book study in there. So for those people who procrastinate, that virtual book study will help you get through the book and learn what you need to know.
Fantastic. All right, Helene, I just want to thank Dallas real quick. She shared this interview on her page. I just got a little notification. So thanks again for being with us. And I'm going to put our radio interview links under this post as well. So if anyone wants more details that way, they can. We do these pre-interviews every week or two for exploring mind and body. In this case, we've already had you on a couple times. So we thought we'd throw this up here and give people the opportunity to learn more about you and what you do, Helene. So thanks again for coming on, and we wish you all the best with your book and everything else you're doing.
Thanks, Drew. Good luck to you too. You're doing great things.
Thanks so much.